assembled every day at 5:30 outside the rectory, where the visionaries were now said to be receiving the apparitions. Every day, the children praying together. Then falling to their knees, at the same moment, their voices becoming inaudible.
We see Our Lady in 3 dimensions. We talk with her. We see her as I see you now. She is wearing a gold dress, light veil, black hair.
And she is supported in a cloud. And for Christmas, she comes with little Jesus, little baby Jesus, in her arms.
Understandably, many people remained suspicious. They thought the youngsters could be lying or deluding themselves. The children were subjected to a battery of psychological and physical tests, measuring brain waves, heartbeat, and involuntary eye movements during the apparitions. The head scientist was Professor Henri Joyeux from the prestigious Montpellier University in France. He'd arrived prepared to discredit the apparitions. He left convinced that the visionaries were not lying or having hallucinations.
The clinical observations made on these visionaries permit us to affirm that these children are perfectly normal and of sound mind and body. The phenomenon reveals itself as being scientifically inexplicable.
Skeptics say there is another possible explanation. They point to the new prosperity in this economically depressed region as the real motive behind the children's extraordinary claims. A building boom is taking place in Medjugorje to accommodate the hordes of pilgrims. The only paved road is lined with kiosks selling rosaries, statues, and T-shirts. Even some church leaders have jokingly referred to Mary as Our Lady of Foreign Currency. But if economic profit is the reason for all of this, the visionaries themselves do not appear to have benefited financially at all.
A lot of people who see this report are going to have trouble believing all of this, that the living, breathing Madonna is speaking to the world through you.
I do not like to convince them, but it is my duty to convey to other people what I am told by Our Lady. The rest depends on each individual heart, how they are going to accept the messages that Our Lady gives.
Now, that was part 1, and Storm Phillips will continue with the impact of Medjugorje on the Americans from Birmingham right after this.
Skeptics. The pilgrimage to Medjugorje affected all the Americans, but the way some were affected was astonishing in itself. Stone Phillips continues with this journey to faith.
The people of this valley have always been devoutly religious. In 1933, they erected a huge concrete cross on top of a mountain to commemorate Christ's death. Now, throughout much of the year, many thousands of pilgrims climb the mountain to pray together in many languages. Since 1981, more than 11 million pilgrims have come here. It is not always so crowded. When the Caritas group visited Cross Mountain, it was a quiet place for prayer and meditation.
My wife had died. I was crying all the time, suffering, and I was lonely. I was really lonely, and I didn't know what to do. And this was an opportunity to do something, so I came over here.
When I do pray, it's a lot more meaningful, peaceful, and calm, quiet. I felt like there was no worry in the world. It was beautiful. It was very touching.
Feel closer to God?
Yeah. closer to God.
Frank, the skeptic, appears to be softening his attitude.
Frank, a lot of people in the group say they're praying for you.
Praying for me.
Yeah, praying for you.
Yeah, they're praying for you too. It's real heavy. You know, it's something I've never experienced before, and I don't believe any of us have. The ones that's been here for the first time, you know. But there's got to be something to it. There's got to be.
Once you are here, you can always tell by the expression on your face.
What are the messages that the young seers relate from the Blessed Virgin Mary?
The main messages of Our Lady are prayer, conversion, fasting, penance, and peace.
These messages touch the pilgrims in very personal ways. Charlie James was married 39 years. He's come here 4 times in the past 3 years since his wife passed away.
Have you found an answer?
Yes, I have, because I know now that one day maybe I'll see her again. I pray a lot for her. I pray for myself that I can be worthy to be with her someday.
Sherry Jambroni came here to deal with some difficult family problems.
My dad, he used to gamble. He used to make bets on football games and such, and we used to go to church, and he wouldn't go to church.
I'd come up with something like I got a headache, or I don't feel like going, you know. I'd make up some excuse because I didn't have time to make my best. And that right there, I was putting that before God. That was my God.
Sam also drank too much. He says that coming here with his family has helped him clarify what's important in life. We were really struck this week by your daughter Sherry's faith and the strength of her belief. Has that influenced you?
Yes, very much. Since I've been here, she's been a lot closer to me. She comes up and kisses me, hugs me every minute she gets.
We've gotten, closer together and everything, and it's just my dad, I'm real close to my dad, and he just says his whole life's changed. And it just makes me want to change even more.
After one last morning church service, it is time to leave, to begin the long journey home.
Whose camera is this?
Some of the group have been affected dramatically by this pilgrimage, others less so.
I would love to go back to the United States and spread and show good examples so that everyone will be converted.
How are you feeling about yourself here?
I feel a lot better, but I haven't been touched like the rest, some of these other people have. But I feel real good about myself. I usually do.
These pilgrims, like the thousands who have journeyed here before them, will spread the simple, essential messages of the need for prayer, fasting, and a more spiritual life. Ultimately, the only way to judge the validity of this spiritual experience is by its consequences, by the lasting positive impact it has on people's lives.
And the pilgrimage doesn't begin here and doesn't end here. But if a person does experience something here, the person will go back to his home and God will continue speaking to everyone. And he does that.
Still, the Vatican has not pronounced this real as yet, has it?
It has not. The Vatican has taken a cautious wait-and-see position on this, and we should point out that the local bishop in Yugoslavia does not believe it.
Now, you were there as a reporter, not as a pilgrim. But did any of this get to you? Do you believe any of it?
Well, Hugh, I'm skeptical. I looked into the sun, for instance, alongside the pilgrims, and I did not see the sign of the cross. I did see a sort of spinning disc there, but it didn't strike me as supernatural, sort of a natural reaction by the eye. I do want to say, though, that one church leader over there said to me privately that this business with the sun or with the rosary beads changing color or even the visions are in the end irrelevant, that what's important is the message of peace.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Sean.
Well, that's a bird in flight. That's a beautiful sight. But for